What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another video game tune. And indeed, I've recently acquired the soundtracks to both Secret of Monkey Island, which I already did a playthrough of here on my YouTube, and Monkey Island 2, which I am currently doing a playthrough of. Now, both of the soundtracks for these games, which go back to the 90s on PC, meaning they were like classic point-and-click computer games, they are not the actual tunes as they sound in the game, but I think they've been re-recorded or rearranged on more music production keyboards. Nevertheless, they are the same tunes, and as I said, I'm excited that I have found soundtracks for both of the games. And we're going to start with the opening track of The Secret of Monkey Island, which is a 1990 game. That's the year of the first game. And it's called Monkey Island Theme. So yes, it plays during the opening credits of the first game. If people remember my playthrough of the first game, I commented on it when I began, like a minute into the playthrough. I was like, oh, it's a great tune, right? Because it's one that I immediately recall when I think of the first game. So yeah, it's a classic. If you don't know the games, they're full of comedy and pirate lore and shenanigans. Also, you have to figure things out. It is one of those old school point and click games where you got to figure out where to go, what items to pick up, how to use them. You have to talk to people, you have to remember what people have told you. Now, in the modern era, and indeed, as you will know if you've watched my playthroughs of the first game and the one that's ongoing for the second game, we live in the internet era, so when I can't figure something out, and to prevent my playthroughs from becoming really long with me just standing there not knowing what to do, there are walkthroughs and information you can find online. But yes, back in the day, you either had to figure it out or talk to someone who had also played the game, and even then it wasn't always clear exactly what task had to be completed. In any case, this track, as I said, is called Monkey Island Theme. Now, the composers for the game, I believe, is it Patrick Land? Maybe it's Michael Land? I actually looked this up earlier. So it's Michael Land, and the secondary composer is listed as Patrick Munty. But I believe, if I'm recalling the opening credits of the game, they give primary credit to Michael Land. So I'm just going to list it by Michael Land. But if I find out later through the YouTube algorithm that it was both of them who composed this, I will adjust the title accordingly. In any case, let's give it a listen. This is Monkey Island Theme from the first game, The Secret of Monkey Island, as composed by Michael Land. I was going to say Patrick Land again. Michael Land and maybe Patrick Munty. So, indeed, the opening part of that plays during the credits, and unlike a lot of video game tracks from back in the day, it has a clear, like, beginning and conclusion, whereas the part they played in the back minute or so of the track is a part that loops because it takes place in a certain area. So while you're in that area, it just keeps playing the tune. And indeed, it's the very first scene of which you have any control when you talk to the lookout who is up on the hill above the main town on Melee Island, which is the starting point of The Secret of Monkey Island. And indeed, it made me think your character Guybrush Threepwood, which is a heck of a name, he introduces himself, and I believe the lookout guy says something like, "What? That sounds like the name of a flooring inspector." So I thought of that exchange. But again, it's just the beginning of a very hilarious and clever game, which again requires some sleuthing as well as some quick, not quick button pressing in terms of like a platforming game where you have to make precise jumps and so on, but there are some parts of the game where you have to be quick in terms of picking something up before someone comes back into the room, or there's one part where you have to pour this burning liquid from one cup to another, and you have to do it at certain timed intervals while you're walking over to another building. So there are some moments where you need to be quick in terms of your mouse movement, but in general it's more of a cognitive thinking game where you have to do deduction. But again, it's full of comedy, they're very fun. If you didn't know, as I said, I've done a full playthrough of Secret of Monkey Island here, and I'm currently going through the second game. So yeah, I'm going to pick some choice tracks in the coming weeks and months to go through. But yes, we will continue to go through different video game music reactions, so let me know what you think of this one, and Luca and I will see you next time. Peace. I forgot to talk about the track. So if you're still here, I did want to note that the game begins by saying, as it does the opening sequence of the credits, "somewhere deep in the Caribbean," and then the track begins to play and it does the credits and it shows the title. And definitely the game and the music and this version of it here, this arrangement, it does have a bit of that reggae Caribbean feel, but in this rendering, in this arrangement, it also had a bit of a like South American Andes, you know, like Ecuador, Bolivia, that type of like high altitude flute, like pan flute type of sound. So definitely it's one that I feel like it gives a slightly different vibe in this rendering than it does in the game. Because in the game, it sounds more straight away, again, reggae, Caribbean, Jamaican type of sound. So yeah, I do enjoy that this version sounds a bit more professional. It sounds a bit less video gamey, if that makes sense. But the vibe of it was a bit different, I would say. So in any case, let me know what you think, and now I will really see you next time. Peace.